Night Podcast, hosted by The Plan, Zash Man, the Victorian Brother, Brutus Valentine, and everyone's favorite man, all up in smoke, Duart the Pond. Ladies and gentlemen, they're ready to rumble, so let's go to the studio. Take it away, Zash Man.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of LJN Fight Night. I'm your host, Zash Man. These are my co-hosts, Duart the Pond, Brutus Valentine. How are you, boys?
Not bad. I'm gonna say that this is the first time the intro has come perfectly. Us three on the screen. I think it's a job well done, Zash.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
You're getting there. You're doing it.
What have you been up to, Brutus? You've had a busy week. You don't reply to many messages when you're having a busy week. What's been going on?
Book number 6, almost done, about 5 days away. That's not in wrestling books, of course, but that's be like 5 or 6 months work almost done.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to hearing more about that. But guys, we've got a jam-packed edition of LJN Fight Night tonight, brought to you by Barnes Products. Also, get on to Figs Down Under group. I just want to give a quick shout-out to them. They've got an awesome podcast as well. It's called Wrestling with Figs Podcast. Get on there, have a look, check out that. That's Figs Down Under podcast. It's an awesome view. So, yeah, so today we've got 2 awesome guests, great customizers, the great Joey Bags and the legendary Sinn Bodhi. Lads, what's going on?
How's it going?
How are you guys doing?
Hey, Joe. Hey, Sinn.
How's it going, guys?
So Sinn's out there with his chickens. He's watching his chickens, rest up, sleep, lay eggs.
They're getting ready for bed. I literally just had Harvey Snoots on my lap, and not the guy that buys customs from us. That's who I named my chicken after.
I thought my wife might have been Terry Taylor, but anyway.
Right, yeah. I should name one Terry Taylor. I should. Terry's a good guy. So I was sending out a custom one day to Harvey Snoots, and my wife does all the packaging and goes to the post office, so I don't have to deal with earthlings and stuff. And she just giggled. She's like, "That sounds awesome. That's like a Gotham villain name or whatever." And I was just amused. I was just like, "I think you're right." And so we named our chicken Harvey Snoots, and there you go.
Well, you don't even have to question what kind of figure that was. I think
he absolutely.
There's a few Hulk Hogans. I made a couple different Hulk Hogans for him.
No shit. That guy. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, he has more customs of Hulk Hogan than I have customs altogether.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he sent me pictures in a chat, and just his literally 30 pictures of just his Hulk Hogan rooms.
Like I'm not sure who's the biggest Hulk Hogan fan out there. If it's him, if it's Rob Kerr with his museum of artifacts, like I'm not sure who is. But definitely Hogan's a great guy.
A Mr. Nanny custom. Zash, have you ever done a Mr. Nanny?
No, I haven't. I don't plan to.
What about this is a bit more serious. What about was it Thunder in Paradise, him and Brutus?
Yes.
Was that the show? That'd be an interesting pair.
So there you go.
Joey, that's something for you to get onto.
Is this the first foul that's been on the podcast?
Right. It's funny because I do these close set, not close set. What's the best word? Like a private Facebook Live for wrestling students across the world. We kind of started it during the pandemic, called the Snake Pit, and Harvey Snoots often co-hosts with me. So people are like, "Hey, how's Snoots doing? What's going on with the Snoots? How's Harvey Snoots? Harvey Snoots, Harvey Snoots." So he's getting over on the internet.
So that was Harvey Snoots.
I'll travel to shows and wrestlers will be like, "Hey, how's Harvey Snoots?"
We can now say Harvey Snoots has been on the show.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
He's a nice guy, Harvey. We like him.
He's watching along, but he hasn't said anything yet. Harvey, put in a message. I'm monitoring the messages. Join in, or maybe he's admiring his Hulk Hogan collection. So
He'll talk up soon. We encourage everyone to ask questions on the show, comment. We like the interaction with the audience. So, guys, involve yourself in the show. Get on the show, and we'll definitely answer your questions. But try to follow the prompts of the StreamYard linking, asking about your name, because a lot of the time I can only see Facebook user, but Brutus will be able to tell who's messaging anyway. But it just makes life a little bit easier. Joseph, what have you been doing?
Actually, I just got done painting a bunch of your full resin figures.
Oh, nice.
For Paris. Just finished those up today. I've been working on those for about 10 days. You had some pretty awesome paint jobs on them, and he wanted those to match, so it made me work. Look, my hand is stuck like this.
Joseph's been definitely helping me out. He's a lot of guys ask me, about my figures, the resin casts that I do. They want them painted up, and Joseph, I sort of send him his way because he's quite active with the painting, and I don't have time for it. So Joseph takes care of a lot of that for me.
Nice.
Does a great job too.
Yeah, it works for me too.
So is that from the Michelangelo of customizers? I don't have time for the painting. I'm just going to lie there looking at the ceiling and working out how I'm going to progress on the Sistine Chapel.
I wish I had a few more sets of hands. I could do all of it, but I don't. We're all human. We've all got our limits. But Sinn Bodhi has been a friggin' machine lately.
Yeah,
I've never seen anyone so busy, mate. You're posting shit up left, right, and center, and you're
Like
3D printing, you're designing. Talk to us about it.
The Bundy is really the Bundy you did was pretty cool. Like how big it is and stuff like that, and how you added the 5 count.
Oh, thank you. I whether I'm in the ring or whether I'm in my toy show, yeah, there's Harvey Snoots doing his run in right there. He's trying to get all the little chickadees to go to bed. He's showing them how to like perch on this little roost. Getting them all on and getting them ready for bed. I just, whether I'm in the ring or in the toy shop, I like to think out of the box. I can't not color out of the lines. So I'm just trying to think of how to do what I want to do. And the 3D stuff really was fascinating to me because I was intimidated by the technology of it. I am a big caveman. I smash things. I'm a breaker, not a builder.
Me too.
And yeah. And so, but I was just thinking, man, wouldn't it be cool if you could like stretch certain, body parts or limbs or whatever, like, you want to take Jumping Jim Brunzell legs and put it on a Paul Orndorff body, but those legs are just too small for that body or something like that. So, but on the 3D stuff, you can stretch and squish and morph and do whatever, and then just make whatever your imagination sees fit. So creatively, like Todd, like I guess you guys have talked a little bit about Todd Tomeo, super nice dude, super talented dude. So like he was really instrumental on kind of coaching me through the mechanics of the 3D programming. Like one of the ones I would use is ZBrush. So like I saw what I wanted in my head, but he was really instrumental on showing me how to mechanically get what was in my head to the, hit the right buttons on the computer screen and to get that going. And then, I was just trying to think of different ways to do different things. And I like them to look exaggerated. Like I like the realistic faces of some of the articulated figures that we've like, rotospanned into like bigger heads and whatnot. But I like to sort of combo platter that with a bit of caricaturization. Like I'm doing an Andre right now, and he's got these giant, like incredible Hulk hands. Like his hands are about the size of his head. I just think it looks really neat. He's almost done painted. I'll post him this week. I got to fly out to wrestle. I know, Snoots. I got to get up early. I know. I got to fly out to wrestle in Florida. And when I get back, I'll finish off Andre and so forth.
That's so crazy.
I think you guys like it. I think it's clever. Like I like it. It's just fun. It's fun for me.
I think it's cool how everyone has evolved what they're doing a bit. Because I've known Todd for a while too, and he started. I mean, even before I got into customizing, I saw his stuff on eBay when he was molding and making them out of rubber and painting them. And now he's doing all the 3D printing. And Sinn, I remember probably about a year ago watching the video of you going to a guy learning how to mold. And then, now you're doing the 3D printing as well.
We actually, that dude, Tom Devlin, the guy that showed me how to mold, he's like a bigwig, like special effects guy for horror movies and stuff. And he's producing a movie. So we were literally on set with him last night. And he also was super pivotal in showing me how to do the casting and the molding and all that stuff. So like artistically, I had ideas in my head, but then I've had some wonderful people really take their time and share their knowledge of how to do some of the mechanical side of the thing, whether it was Tom showing me the casting molding or Todd showing me the 3D printing. And then another guy, he's not really in the customizing scene, but he's like I want to say, for lack of a better term, like a pro 3D printer. His name is Charo Zook, and he is awesome. And he took so much time with me explaining how to do the printing. Like I was kind of pulling out my tattooed hair, trying to figure out some of the mechanics of the machines. And he was really, really, really cool with his time, really patient. We got along. We just laughed, and he just explained so much stuff, and he made it so easy. And same with Todd. Like Todd is really good. He was a really good coach to kind of show me how to figure out, the 3D sculpting. So I'm super thankful to all those guys.
Yeah, Todd's a good shit. He's a very nice, helpful guy, and fun to talk to him. And then just shooting the ideas with him, he just loves it. Like you give him an idea, boom, he writes it down. Okay, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, totally.
He very rarely turns an idea away.
Yeah, and the other day when I got the package from him, he actually sent me. Well, where the hell is it? It's right here. Christ. He sent me a bunch of heads, the Lost series, like Brother Love, the Bushwhackers, and everything. He gave me the whole set. He didn't even charge me. He gave it to me for free. He actually sent me 2 sets, and 1 set was to send to Nick Hales, which I'm sending him a package. So I had a package getting ready for Nick. So then, since I'm sending something to Nick, might as well send it to me, Todd. So Nick's got a free. Like he sent me and Nick a set just like that. That's not much of a nice guy that guy is.
I've got the same deal.
Super generous. Like if you like something and you're you're kind of going back and forth with him. You're like, oh yeah, well let me send you this, let me do this, or let me help you with this. Like he's very, very generous, very giving.
And 2 big ones that I got it from were these ones. I'm working on a Vince Senior, and
nice,
and a Gorilla Monsoon back when he used to wrestle.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
well,
he's
we're gonna shoot into a quick letter, and then we'll continue this conversation. So over to.
Oh, here we go. Thanks for that. Here we go. Another letter sent in from one of our happy viewers. This one is from Beffrey Jets of Knackery, Kansas.
Where?
Knackery, Kansas.
Okay.
Writes, hey, hi guys. This is Beffrey Jets. Hi guys. My wife gives me grief when we go to the bar for margaritas on Friday and says I get wobbly and drink too much, and she stops me having fun. So I was thinking, you know how you can put blue tack underneath the feet of LJNs to make them steady and stop falling over? Well, what if I do that to myself at the bar? Do you think it'll work for me? So, guys, Beffrey Jets of Knackery, Kansas would like do you reckon blue tack would help him not be so wobbly?
Just tell him to just sit in the chair and don't get up, and he'll be okay.
Okay, all right. What are the others? Joey Bags, what do you reckon for Beffrey Jets should do?
I think he should sit down too. I think that's a good idea.
Okay, well, that's good advice from the LJN Life Hacks, right? If anyone else has got any other advice for Beffrey Jets of Knackery, Kansas, just sit down and no one will even know. But for all you guys who are a bit short of stature, maybe a bit of blue tack underneath your feet could work quite well. And that is the LJN Life Hack of the Week. Send in your letters if you got them, guys.
Beffrey Jets. What a legend he is. I chat to him quite often, and
he definitely loves his margaritas. That's for sure.
He does,
and he loves going to Vegas. That's for sure too.
I thought you had another letter. Didn't you have another letter off someone you mentioned?
No, that's for the challenge Stump Brutus thing.
Oh, that's for your segment number 2.
Yeah. Now, I just have to pop off for a second. I can smell gas, so I'm just going to go and have a look and check out and see that.
Yeah, get out
baked beans, mate.
If there's a big explosion, then you know it was gas.
While Brutus nips away and finds out why his house is about to catch on fire, we've got a new segment on this show, which is basically paying tribute to all the customizers. On this show, we like to support the customizers and collectors, get them talking, get them on the show as much as possible, because that's what the show is about, the community. So every single week when someone posts their custom on LJN Elite Custom Figures, we're going to be discussing all the customs all together on our LJN Fight Night show during the week. So we shall get on with it. And I've got a new intro for this segment coming from the great legendary Smash Ventura, but that's going to take a few weeks. So in the meantime, my daughter offered to help me out with this awesome intro. So check this out, guys.
Customs of the week.
What did you think of that?
Fancy.
Wasn't that awesome? She done a great job. She sounds
That
very young.
banjo kind of reminded me of half of like Deliverance meets like the Hulk Hogan Rock and Wrestling.
Yes, it did. Well, okay, so this video is going to take us through all the customs that were posted on LJN Elite Custom Figures during the week. So first off, we're starting off with Alan Carpenter's. Talk us through it, guys. Tell us your thoughts as we go. What do you think of this figure?
Oh, Carpenter's old school work's always great. And, you know, seeing Big Bam Bam like this, it's fantastic. And, you know, he always produces fantastic old school work and celebrating the territories as well.
Yeah, well said. And he did post this similar figure in a competition a while back. I think it was in the Custom Mania or the Backlash, one or the other. And he's added a few little, he's added a few extra things to it. The stars on the back and the hat,
the little belt and the feather.
Yeah. So nice work.
I want to admit something here. I want to admit something really quickly. When I made some Freebirds quite a while ago, it was one of the first ones that I'd really done, and I was so gun shy to put. I wanted to put that rebel flag that he has on his back right there. I wanted to do the paint job that they had, and I just thought how up in arms everybody is. Everybody's so sensitive. I thought I just wanted to do it because it was what I remembered as a kid, and I just thought, do I dare do that? Am I going to be getting all this grief if I didn't do it? So I didn't do it, but I really wish I did it just because I think it just looked so awesome. And I think he did a great.
Another good one was Caleb Langford's Norman the Lunatic.
Yeah.
This is
Good
something
stuff.
different. Anyone ever seen a Norman the Lunatic before?
No.
Nope, just Bastion Booger a couple times. I had fun doing one. He was a pain in the ass to do, but he was fun to do. But this one is really clever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought to use that Bam Bam body. It was a clever thing to do.
Usual, very, very, very clean from Caleb. Oh, sorry, where's Gerard? We're bringing him back on.
Yeah,
For some reason he disappeared.
I'm not the tech guy.
What happened?
All I know
Where
is
did you go? I didn't even notice you were gone.
Yeah, I know. And Joey's gone as well. But I know he's probably there.
Oh,
There I am.
there we go. Joey's back now. So
Hey,
Justin Bennett, he did this custom of one of his workmates.
Yeah, did that. Tom Veg did a good work on the head, and it looks good. Good for him making a figure for his buddy.
Yeah, when I saw this, I looked up to see what he looked like, and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty spot on.
Do you think it looks a bit like you too, Joey?
No, I have too much gray in my beard.
Too much gray in your beard. All right.
No, but you know
yeah.
what, Sin, I saw a custom you did for Jeffrey Parker of himself. He lives right in the town with me, and you did an amazing job on that. He had like a black leather jacket and jeans. And I could not, but he brought it over and showed it to me, or showed it to me somewhere. And it was pretty awesome.
Oh, thank you. It's weird. So half the customs that I will do are usually like of just, whoever, just somebody that just wants a custom of themselves. They're just like, a normal dude. And so that's always like a neat challenge. And it's cool because then they get to they get that moment of like feeling like a superhero or something. And it's neat to kind of give somebody that, to kind of give them a little bit of Santa Claus action and let them feel kind of cool, and I think it's neat. It's just all this stuff to me is like, whether it's the toys or whether it's being in the ring, it's smiles on faces. That's the bottom line. So if somebody's happy, I'm happy.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, well said.
And I agree.
So,
I saw the real life picture of this dude, and Tom Veg did a really great
did a really good job.
likeness.
he does.
Does
He's
it-
really good. He's really
When you
good.
see what Tom Veg does, doesn't it make you wonder, like, how are so many other companies not getting it right? Like,
Well, I don't want to go there, but I think most decision makers across planet Earth at companies or in charge of countries or whatever, usually the decision makers probably should not be decision makers. It's usually the guys and girls on the ground level. They're the ones that are putting all the blood, sweat, and tears, and they're the ones that really see it for what it is. So you probably want the designers to be the decision makers and vice versa. I think I think there's so many toy companies, wrestling companies, right? Every company just on planet Earth, I think, should really shake themselves upside down and switch leaderships a little bit. But what do I know? I wear clown paint, bunnies, and duckies on my feet for a living. What the hell do I know?
Well, I can't get this video to start moving.
I was going to say, who we got next?
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, finally, it started moving. Here we go. I'm scared of stopping it now, so I don't know. We just saw Daniel Ariola do a nice figure. Here's Sinn Bodhi's. He's done a bunch of figures this week, posted on there. Sin, check out those guns. Geez, you like your arms, don't you?
I like the sort of the over the top, it's funny, like in wrestling, like if the old school way is to really make the other guy look good. If he looks good, then you look good. If they really like that guy, then they hate the bad guy. If they hate the bad guy, they really like the good guy. So I think it's about putting forth the best versions of yourself. So as a kid, thinking back to some of these characters, I kind of want to do them the way my little kid's brain would remember them, like these larger than life, superheroes and supervillains.
Shad Guthia, he's been doing some awesome repaints. Look at this guy, Claudio Paroli.
Very nice.
Yeah, the long hair.
This guy hasn't been in it for that long, has he, Claudio? He's doing some unbelievable stuff for a guy that has only been doing it for a short time.
Even his stuff in. Nope, go ahead.
Who did the Morocco?
Nick Hales.
Yeah, that's our
Nick
boy,
did?
our Aussie boy, Nick.
Nice. Very nice.
It's a nice one, isn't it?
That figure will probably be somewhere in this shelf in a month or so.
Very cool.
Somewhere in there.
Don Morocco was one of my favorite growing up. Him and Billy Jack and Macho Man. And so when I saw this, I'd done a Morocco myself in his ring gear, but I loved it with the tie-dye shirt. I think it looks awesome.
I only remember Morocco as a face, never as a heel. And I only remember him from, I think it's WrestleMania 4 or 5, that tournament one that he came down with Superstar. When I see this figure, I could picture his theme music coming down that aisle.
Yeah, WrestleMania 4.
He was one of the best heels. He could get hit in the ring.
I don't remember him.
I don't remember him as a face.
The magnificent.
I only remember him as a face.
With Mr. Fuji.
I think he was a good guy for just a moment compared to a majority of being a heel, during his career for the most part. It was just that last stretch in WWF that he was a good guy. Probably
when Billy Graham's went with him.
Yeah.
Started managing him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Sin, I know you weren't in Custom Mania, but those Freebirds you were talking about, that's what I ended up doing for Custom Mania with the I don't know if you'll be able to see.
Yeah, I can see. Sort of, there's a bit of a glare on, but I can see. I think I remember seeing those. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. I loved that from the Soldier, or it was in Chicago when they fought against the
Road Warriors.
Road Warriors. Yeah, and
Nice.
I loved that match. I remember it from when I was real little.
Michael Hayes was during my time there. He was always like he was in the writing office. He was always checking out the matches and writing the matches. And at the time, we were actually wrestling with Terry Gordy's kid, Jesse, when they were like Jesse and Festus. So like Jesse was a really good dude. I never got to meet Terry, never got to meet Buddy, but I know Michael, and he was always pretty funny. And Michael is absolutely PS Michael Hayes. Like he does not
awesome.
like that is him.
That's great. Where is Zach here?
Have we lost the man?
Did you lose your host, you jerk?
Oh well, then it's just our show. No problem whatsoever.
That's great. Okay, so speaking of customs, I was telling you. So I got the one from Thing, and just off the show that I'm getting a custom of you, and just looking at the top of your head, it's going to be a pain in the ass to do the. And like never mind your arms, because I can tell by your arms there's like so many. Just if you wouldn't your their head, I'm like, Jesus Christ, look at that! It's gonna be all kinds of crazy decals.
I would joke with the wrestling students, like you never want to sell to the lights, you never want to look at the ceiling, you always want to kind of look up and look at the fans. I said nobody wants to look at the top of your head unless you're some asshole with a face drawn on the top of your brains or whatever. But so here's the question. So on the tattoos, on the decals, I have a question for you guys. Maybe you guys can help me out with this. And maybe this might help out some other people that are figuring this out too. But I notice I always have such a pain in the ass time with the decals, especially like if you're going to put something like this on a rounded surface, let alone on a flattened surface. And I know like from doing tattoos, like if we would put on a stencil, we would kind of cut little snippets into the stencil so it would kind of fold over the curvature nicely. But I noticed that always with the decals, that always kind of comes with a price. Like there's always like a little ripple or something, and I would have to smash it down, and it was just always a pain in the ass. But if you guys have any decal tricks, I'm definitely all ears.
I definitely don't, because I mess up at least 2-3 times every time I do it.
No, I think no matter what, you're gonna have.
Yeah.
No matter what, you're gonna have 1 or 2 ripples.
No, but there is, because I remember Zash, because when he did a CM Punk one in the tattoos.
Yeah.
Like he did some, yeah, he had to do some type of cutting, and then did like what you're saying with the tattooing stencils or whatever. Like I know he did that. If he could come on the screen, he'll probably tell you. But there is, because I remember he did it. But I personally can't. Like some of the ones I've done with decals, some of them come perfectly if it's a straight. But when it's like certain curves, like you get it. So that's why if I see like if I'm doing like decals like on an Orndorff bottom, right, his legs, and he has the muscles, I'll try to epoxy it so it's smooth, so I don't have any like obstacles, so it's just nice and smooth, just to put like one down.
Yeah, like I mean, I figured out fairly quickly after a little bit of frustration to really try to map out where the decal was going to go, as opposed to, oh, it's a t-shirt, oh, the decal's going to go on a shirt. Well, then I'd start having to think, just like you said, about maybe epoxying somewhere between it, like in his chest, where that maybe there might be like that divot right there or something like that, where it kind of ripples over, like finding the smoothest, most forgiving places to put them on, and so forth. Yeah, just no matter what I did, it just seemed like there was always some kind of little crinkle or something there, and yeah.
No, I definitely don't have one. I know Zash will, if he comes back on, if he could get his connection to Ethernet. The internet in Australia sucks for some reason. You guys can never get it. But Brutus is loving his internet today.
Yeah.
If Zash could get his act together, that'd be cool. I'm curious to know what he thinks about that.
Yeah, my wife's actually out because our lockdown technically ended. Well, the first stage of it ended. 268 days we've been in lockdown.
Yeah, I heard from Rob Kerr. He was telling me.
So she's gone out to visit a friend. So she's actually not teaching or doing that downstairs. So it's a little bit better. And I think everyone's out and about, so it'll make a bit of a difference. So what do you reckon, Dwight? Do you reckon Zash it looks as though he might not be coming back on for a couple of minutes. Should we move into either your segment or the Stump Brutus segment?
No, there was going to be the custom hacks with what these guys had, like their little techniques of what they do.
Yeah.
They want to give their artists hacks. I think he's asking Joey before the show if you had any tips or anything for the show.
Yeah, you want to hear mine?
Yeah, you might as well, because I know that's what was going to be next, but he can't. He's going to be back on. But I know you want to go. If there's any tips you want to give, like what you do, putting figures together, painting, anything that you found that once you figured it out, you get by with the figure faster.
Yeah, so I try to treat all my custom. Did you ever see the movie Ghost?
Come on.
Patrick
Yeah.
Swayze.
Come on, who hasn't seen it? Everyone here has seen it, and no one's going to say they haven't.
So
do you know? Sorry to interrupt you, Joey, but since you brought that up and it has an LJN connection, do you know who the original lead was offered in Ghost to? Before
Tom
Patrick
Cruise?
Swayze?
Tom Cruise?
No,
Rowdy Piper.
no, it's actually Paul Hogan, the Australian comedian. Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, Paul Hogan. Yeah.
Yeah. And he
That's
turned
funny.
it down. He said, "That's not for me. You don't want someone who looks like me in that role."
Good.
That's a ghost. That's not a ghost. That's a ghost.
Yes. Oh, speaking of Outback, Zash, he's back too. So sorry, Joey, I interrupted you.
No, you're okay. So if you've seen that movie Ghost, you remember Demi Moore using the clay, wetting the clay down when she's like making a vase or pottery. After using Milliput for a year and a half, man, I decided to just really start wetting it down. And it just makes it such a smooth connection on any pieces that I'm trying to connect. I mean, I get it pretty darn wet. The only thing is it takes like 2 days for it to dry where you can sand it, but not a lot of sanding needs to be done. Plus I got sick of it being stuck to my skin all the time. So I really have some really wet hands when I'm mixing it and using it. So I feel like I'm Demi Moore every time I'm making a figure.
Did you play the song in the background or no?
Oh, of course.
Oh man.
Sometimes my wife comes up behind me and grabs my hands, and I'm like, "No, this is too much."
Well, I'm back, boys.
Yeah, everyone hungers for your touch, Joey Bag. So keep it going.
Let's continue on with these customs. Have I got an echo or not?
Oh yeah.
We've got two Zashes. We've got Zash with the video and Zash without. So
Okay, cool. I can sort this out. Okay.
that's all right.
Yeah.
It sounds very mysterious.
I've muted one. Am I?
No, I see
You're
you.
still fine.
Cool. All right. Well, let's continue on where we left off because I want to get these customizers shout out who has put their customs in the group. Sorry about that. I had a light bulb globe explode and it turned off all the power. So my Wi-Fi went down, but here we go. Back up and running.
Hey, Sin, on your customs, where do you get all your accessories?
So again, just always just trying to think out of the box. I'm just like, where could I find something that might look like whatever? So, for instance, like the bone that I have the Moondogs holding, actually that is weirdly. And so like, if I'm going to 3D print these things as well. So they'll just be like resin, but the original, bones on the original sculpts of these Moondogs are actually from my a neighbor who she is a taxidermist, and these are like boiled and bleached like tiny bird bones. So they're legit bones, and then weirdly like they're hollow because bird bones are hollow. So when I put a tiny little like a carpentry nail into his fist, so his fist is there, and he's basically got a drilled carpentry nail on both sides, and then I cut the bone in half. And I put the one side of the bone on one side of the bone, so it's actually not going through his hand. So I would just find the dumbest, weirdest things, just depending on what. But that's the one I can think of off the top of my head. But if you have a specific, I could tell you if you ask me specific.
Okay.
Like
Daniel Ariola, done Dumb and Dumber. I think this is for a competition that's on the LJN figures.
There's a Halloween custom. Yeah, that one is hilarious. I saw that one, and that was a really good one.
That's awesome. I saw it too.
And one of the best movies ever too. It was hilarious.
So that was fun to see.
I like I don't know who did it, but I saw a Deadpool one that I thought was pretty clever.
Tim Bateson done 2 Hogans.
I wonder if Harvey Snoots has contacted him to get those.
Probably. This is a cast of mine. I think they were both my casts actually that I sent Tim Bateson.
Nice.
So yeah, he done a good job of them. He loves painting yellow. Red Garfield. I'm seeing some improvements come out of Red. I think his real name's Matt. But Red Garfield's doing very well with his stuff. So keep up the good work, mate. It's good to see you coming out with all your stuff. Another one from Sinn Bodhi.
Those legs.
It's a cool looking figure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool looking figure.
As big as that
touched on that one
as huge as that King Kong Bundy is, like you could see him next to like the original Bundy. But he is tiny compared to this Andre that I'm doing. This Andre is mammoth.
Yeah. Well, here's some Mark Cochran heads.
He's another good dude. I like Mark a lot. Mark is a good dude.
He's a very good guy. Nick Hales has done a nice
Lord Alfred.
Lord Alfred.
Thank you. Lord Alfred Hayes. Haven't seen him in this suit before, this color.
Usually see him in the like that mustard yellow.
Yeah. So he's done some nice shading parts in that. That's a nice looking suit. Tom Ward, get your finger out, mate. Good to see you doing some stuff. He's been a bit quiet.
It's nice.
He's always producing good stuff. Now, how much attention did this Ric Flair get? Did anyone notice?
A lot.
It's good. That's like a Jim Brunzel's, or I mean, B. Brian Black's perfect body for Ric Flair, I think.
So on that note, see how great those B. Brian legs are. Like the details are really good in the legs, but those legs, like if you were to try to put them on other bodies, are kind of skinnier or smaller.
Yeah, there's not too
like, but to stretch them and morph them on the 3D thing, they're awesome. So you can make like big muscular or whatever, and just stretch the legs accordingly because the details are so good. Where some of the other boots are not so great, like an Orndorff boot or whatever. But these boots are really really cool.
Yeah, definitely clean looking figure.
I love the Patera legs.
Yeah, me too.
So Joe Davis done some good Hogans. Some more Hogans from Jason Ferrugia. He done a nice Hogan here. I supplied him with that head.
Hopefully he makes the whole NWO.
This is only his 4th ever custom.
Yeah, his 4th one. Yeah, he did a Slaughter. He did an Andre, I think.
Yeah, he's a very nice guy, Jason. Aussie guy. Doing some good stuff. So we should hear more from Jason in the future. He runs LJN for Life Down Under. So if any of you guys know of that group or want to check it out, LJN for Life Down Under.
Yeah, the Rock did it.
Group of guys. Yeah. More from Sinn Bodhi. I tell you what, he's been busy, hasn't he?
Do you paint them all at the same time, Sin, or no?
Sometimes I'll kind of do like bits and pieces, like that way, while one is drying, I'll work on a little bit of the next one, and while some of that's curing, I'll work on a little bit of the next one. So there's usually 4 or 5 or 10 guys sitting on my table at one point, and they're all just getting done slowly but surely.
That's a nice Brutus that Caleb did. I think that the scissors are removable and you can put on both hands from the way it looks.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
That's really cool. And I do like that Brutus. Like I don't like the Brutus that the LJN made, but that's like a perfect one to have.
Yeah, agreed. I think those glue bodies, when you enlarge the glue bodies, they look awesome, like as LJN bodies. Like that, I want to say that's a Tom Zink body, or at least upper. I think he like that upper body on this Macho Man is a Ron Simmons body with Hogan legs. And I think like those, the glue bodies are awesome. Like they're actually sculpted, I think, nicer than the LJNs. But
the glues are masterful sculpts in the body and the face. And they went in for such a short line. It's a bit of a waste. History serves them very well.
Yep.
Definitely. He's doing some clean painting, Caleb. Good on him. Well done. Nice customs you're bringing out, mate.
Yeah, I love that Savage.
I have that Ron Simmons body that's kind of set in my ZBrush thing, and I'm just trying to decide who do I want to use that body with, because I really like that upper body. I just haven't decided who I want to make it into yet.
Yeah. James Bertrand. I haven't heard much of him before, but doing some good customs here.
Yeah, I wasn't sure who that was, but that razor was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I like that sting. That sting is nice and clean.
Lots of movement on that shot.
Yeah, definitely. Another one from Red Garfield. Another 2 from Red Garfield. Pumping out a few now. He's keeping busy. It's good to see. Brian Scott. Done a good taker and a good cane, and done a good set there. And Mike Steyer.
Mike,
Didn't this get a lot of love online across the forums, this set?
Well, we've seen people do 1 or 2 from this video game, but we haven't seen them do a full set, I don't think, yet. So
there's a couple of them I've seen. I saw Chris Tyron did one a few years back, but they're cool figures for sure.
I love the Star Man. He's great.
Duarte Dupont, our very own Duarte
like
Dupont did a great one here. Mean Gene.
Good old Mean Gene.
I haven't seen one done like this before.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Did you seal those, Stuart?
What?
Did you seal that one? Is it sealed?
Yeah, with like a matte spray.
Oh, Matt.
Why?
I like the matte
spray?
seal. I like the matte seal. I'm not a big fan of like the super glossy seal. I like the matte. I think it looks nicer because it's glossy enough, but it doesn't look like so shiny.
I never use Mod Podge because I just don't like using it. So I do the sprays. I either do it depends on the figure. Sometimes I'll do a gloss spray, and sometimes I'll do a matte. It all depends, like whatever the figure, whatever I do it. Like at the time, if I see that spray, I'll pick up that can and I'll do it. But either way, to me, I like it because I put it in my own collection, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, nice one from Justin Bennett, and I think that just about does it for the customs of the week. So I don't think there was any more after that. We got a message here from someone, Brutus. Who's this crazy, strange message from?
What's the message?
I'll try and put it up on the screen.
Oh, it's
a long message.
That was for Joey Bags, I think.
Who's this? Who is that?
I don't know who it is, but it's the song from the movie Ghost.
Ah, that's what it is. Someone went into a lot of effort for that message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like
someone who can process a lot of information very quickly. I don't know who that would be, but anyway.
I reckon it's a cut and paste job from Google.
I hope so, because I hope none of us know all the words like that.
Probably the same person who wrote the first letter in the first show.
Oh, that was Gilbert Poindexter. That one.
That guy.
Yes. Yeah, he'd go to all that trouble. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Gilbert Poindexter. He was a classic. Well, let's go on with How's That?
And now, it's your chance to challenge the Fig Storian himself. Ask a question or try to stump the LJN mastermind. Ladies and gentlemen, how's that? With the Fixtorian, Brother Brutus Valentine.
Oh, those close-ups get me all the time. Okay, this week we actually have a question from one of our dedicated viewers. It was from Shad Gutierrez, who was asking about the origin of the LJNs and how he's heard that they were originally meant to be, wire bendy type LJNs, like Zash has just made with his Haku. So in the end, they came out like this. Everyone calls them rubber, of course, but they're not rubber. It's a type of PVC, but they're rubbery, so that's fine. Originally, they were meant to be about 5 inches. And with the wire inside, so they were going to be about He-Man size because that was the most dominant toy at the time. So we're talking from July 84 when the contract was signed, and they released a press release to say that 6 figures would come out for Christmas, about 5 inches, bendable, that sort of stuff. Now, of course, when they were shown to the salespeople, and most of this happened in January 1985, I know people have a different idea of the timelines of LJNs, and that's fine for them. The salespeople saw them because they were made like 2-ups, and we've heard the term 2-ups used for Hasbro's, but the production prototypes were made big. And when they saw them big, the sales reps from the stores, such as Walmart, such as Kmart, such as KB, Toys R Us, said, you actually need to release these big and solid. And they couldn't get the bendy wires to work in such a huge figure and keep the weight down to get it made in Hong Kong initially and then shipped over. So initially they were meant to be 5-inch bendy, but 2 things happened. One, the sales teams that were trying to flog them to the retailers saw them and said they should be bigger. And in the bigger scale, they couldn't get the wire bendy to work in a cost-effective way and have the figures molded and held together. So, and that was all reported by Bill Stanhope, who's actually in the book as one of the profiles. He was the production manager at LJN. He was the design manager from 1985 to 1988. So he came in just after they'd already started making the first sets of figures. So they were meant to be He-Man size, fully articulated with bendy wire, but it just didn't work, and they were much more appealing in this large size. So I hope that answers it. It's a bit convoluted, but that's
And now Zash is coming out with those bendies. Now he's come up with it. If he was back there,
he would have done it.
Yeah, I kind of surprised myself with how well this last one turned out. But I've got a question for you, Brutus. The actual LJN bendies, they wouldn't be far off 5-inch anyway, would they? They would be what, a 4.5-inch figure, 4-inch figure?
Yeah.
Is that something? Is that something like what LJN had in mind originally for the original figure? And when did the LJN bendies actually come out?
I suppose if we look at scale, there's a fair difference in scale. It's not too clear, but you get an idea in that. LJN bendies first hit the stands in about late January, early February 1986. I think Thumb Wrestlers came out just before that, and then the bendies came out. So I think it was just a case of, shrinking the molds down. A lot of them are very similar, and selling a cheaper product for kids who couldn't quite afford the big ones. Although the bendies were relatively quite expensive. They were $5.99 when they first came out in most stores, and then they went down to $4.99 in most. The thumb wrestlers were really a way of catching low-income dollar. You could get 2 wrestlers for $4.99 or $3.99, so that was a good gift from grandparents and uncles and aunties. So I just think it was a case of everything was selling. That from June 1985, it just went crazy, absolutely crazy. And whatever they could release, they could sell. So they just as much onto the market as possible. So I don't know what the real reason. I think it was probably more so that they could fight G.I. Joes would have been, because G.I. Joes were doing very well in that small scale at that time.
Well, I had the bendies. I had the thumb wrestlers when I was young, and used to see them in the stores a lot in Australia. But the bendies I didn't see as much in Australia.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, I got a King Kong Bundy bendy in 1988, and then I actually got a discounted George the Animal Steel and Lou Albano tag team set for $2, which I wish I had have kept that, because when I actually bought that again, it cost a lot more than $2.
Well, interesting. We always like this segment from Brutus.
Yeah, and the bendies were shot by the end of '86. The bendies were shot, hence we didn't get the British Bulldogs. It was very short-lived, whereas the thumb wrestlers went on to go into '87 a bit more. But the bendies, the second series, that they just had the main production runs, and that was it. And after Christmas '86, they weren't doing much at all.
There's an interesting video on YouTube about prototypes and figures that didn't come out. That were showing pictures of or so forth. and I was watching a bit of it last night, rewatching a bit of it, and there's a lot of interesting things. On one of them, there's articulated thumb wrestlers that were going to come out. You heard about them?
Okay. I've heard of them, but I haven't seen the video you're referring to. So I might have to get you to send me the link, and I'll have a look at that one. On the thumb wrestler package on the back, there's the Hogan and the Iron Sheik, and if you have a look, they're actually articulated. So in the prototype section, I actually put that in there. I won't show it because you won't see it, but they're articulated. They've got the shoulder movement and that sort of stuff.
Joe Gatter made articulated figures.
Yeah.
He made, I think, the Macho Man, I think, and Hulk Hogan, if I'm not mistaken. He made 2, if I'm not mistaken. And he also did the giant thumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that's been in my mind for quite a while, doing articulated figures. Have you guys ever thought about that, Sin?
Absolutely
Joseph,
not.
Joey?
No, and after seeing your bendy that you did of the Haku, there's no point, because it is awesome. That bendy Haku is top notch. I did see someone ask about, have you been able to figure out how to paint it without it cracking?
So I might not have got the skin color, really correct, because adding pigments into rubber isn't always the same as mixing up paint. I thought it was going to dry a lot darker than it was once it was set, but it didn't set. I think it set a bit lighter rather than darker. And also, I don't have many colored pigments to play around with, but I got a good skin tone on him. It's good enough for me. So all I've got to do is paint the pants and the eyes and hair and stuff. And it doesn't matter about hair, eyes and stuff, because the part that will crack are the flexible limbs and the bigger body parts. So taking care of the skin tone was 90% of it. All I have to do is worry about the pants.
What's it called again? There's something that I remember that Brian Frawley, or it was Derek, but there's something you put in the paint that allows it to stretch. I don't know what it was, but it was either Brian Fowley or Derek Danforth that you add something that allows the paint to stretch.
We've got the same product in Australia, and it works to a certain extent. From my experience, it would work on an LJN figure fine because it's a harder rubber. But once you're flexing something to the point of, from up here to down there to this to that, it's big flexible actions. It takes more of a product to boost with that. This is like what they use in bumper bars on cars. It's like a flexi ad. It moves with the temperature and stuff like that, and it will stop cracking to a certain degree. But if you're moving something to the extent of that, it takes a whole new level of flexible additive.
And when your internet was out, Sin was asking, how do you put the tattoos without seeing any lines? Because you remember when you did your CM Punk, didn't you have to cut stuff to make it all like gel together, or no?
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of stuff I do with tattoos. There's also a product that I use, trying to think of it off the top of my head. It's called something or another, and it melts the decal into the figure. Can't remember the name of it. It's lost me. Something Microsol. Microsol.
Yeah, Microsol. Yeah. So
that can help to a certain extent.
I have that, but it still sent the pain in the butt.
Yeah, so it helps to a certain extent. I know it sounds tedious, but what I've gone to the extent of doing is putting over a clear coat or some kind of sealer, sanding that down, and then sealing it again. Try not to cut through. And if you cut through, it's fine. You just touch it up with a bit of paint. Sand it down again, seal it again, sand it down again, seal it again. People think, why would I do such a massive effort at the end? Well, because you've just spent a week on the figure, and an extra couple of hours is going to make it so much better, So that's the extent you've got to go to with these, is sanding it back, sealing it again, sanding it back and sealing it, and then that edge will disappear.
When I'm selling a custom, which is really hard for me to do, I kind of want nobody to buy them. I want to just keep them and play with them. But I really want to keep the cost down, but I have to sometimes feel kind of like I have to sell what we're doing to people, saying like, look, you're not just getting some cheapy mass produced action figure at like a Walmart. Like these are like kind of little creatures of love. Like they're just made with like TLC, and they're made for, it takes hours and hours, days to make these things. And they're not cheap to make, really, when you think about all that resin and rubber and epoxy and this and that and the microsol and the decals and all, just every damn thing that goes into it. And then just and your man hours. So I sometimes I feel kind of guilty about, charging a few bucks for these things, but I have to sort of, we all, I guess, have to kind of know our value and just go, look, if this is what you want, like, I'm not charging $5 million, but I'm not charging $10 either. So, and most people are cool with that. And then you get the odd kind of person that's sort of a bit of a jerk about it. And then there you go. But
well, Brutus has mentioned it a few times. He said that these are handmade. What's that word you come up with all the time? Bespoke.
Yeah, bespoke.
That's how I can never remember.
Yeah.
So
and it's something, because I follow this. I haven't been online much for the last few months, but I mean, this is a mass-produced stuff, and Sim's talking about the number of hours that go into it, but even just the cost of the inputs is significant, and what some people aren't getting is you're not seeing the ones that didn't work either. So you're getting the finished product that these guys have made, and Joey's been doing this for years. To get to the point where you are, there's a lot of learning and a lot of time, and you're doing it for love, but you can't not get some return on it, because otherwise you just be keeping them all for yourself like DDP does, and that might be the way to go. But this stuff takes time, years of skills and training, and sometimes you just need to cut the customizers a little bit of a break and realize to get these one-off items handmade, you have to pay a little bit more than you'd get from Mattel churning out 500,000 of them.
And you got to wait too. Like the person is not going to make the figure right away, the same day. They got a life at the end of the day. Sometimes they'll make the figure, then they'll sand it one day, and then 2 days later they'll start painting skin tone. So don't rush the guy. Like, let the guy have fun. If you want a good figure, just let the guy have fun and make it.
Yeah, and
when it's done, it's done. That's the way I look at it.
And that's coming from the guy who's got what? And I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass, because you blow enough out of your mouth as it is.
What do you mean? It's the special effects that got. It's a special effects that Smash Ventura did for me.
That was a compliment. He's gone. That's from the man who has the most significant customs collection in the world. So if he says that, that's. Did you hear
Get
that
camera away from me.
Yeah.
My face is melting. My face is melting right now.
Yeah. So whatever you say from a custom collector point of view, as opposed to a maker, guys have got to listen to, because you're the guy. I mean, just look behind you. I mean, we can see what you've put into it. Oh yeah, it's everyone's collection behind me. I think Nick Hill's is the ones all right here behind me. There's Zash's, there's Caleb's, there's Gatter's. Mine are at the bottom, and then the originals are on the bottom shelf. But the Sergeant Slaughter, that the Hasbro one, it's in the closet because there's no room for it in the spare in the toilet in the spare room, right? Where I have everything. I can't see any digital customs there.
Any digitals? I'm waiting for you to send a picture of your Tiger Chung Li so I can put it up here. So it'll be like on the glass there.
Oh, maybe there's been a huge shift in the way digital artwork is being appreciated now. So maybe I could do that. I actually made some digital artworks back in 2007, but I was a bit ahead of my time. But I don't talk about that element of my life. I think Zash knows just a slight thing about it, but other than that. But in about a week's time, my head will swing to book 2. Nice. And so there's so then we'll see what happens.
So what's book 2 consist of, and what's it going to be called?
So book 2, I'm not sure of the exact name. I just have to insert another word into the cover. So it's the guys from the Golden Age WWF, 84 to about the end of 89, who didn't get a figure. Now, there's some obvious ones that, and we've seen many customs. We've got the Rockers there behind Dwight's right shoulder, Mr. Perfect, Tugboat, lots of things. But there's other guys, especially from 1984, like Ivan Putski. We've got the Freebirds and their short run, the Moondogs, Tiger Chung Li, of course, Iron Mike Sharp. All guys who got some sort of little push at some time. Steve Gatorwolf got a little push. Mark Young, that people might not know from late '89, that's Chief Jay Strongbow's son. He used to come out and do break dancing before the match. And the girls, right? Because the girls were a key part of the growth. And so I've had to make a few digitals of those. Zash has been working on some girls. Nick Hales has been working on some girls for me as well. Nice. And so I think I've got about 115 profiles. So I'm going to have to research to write up their WWF history at the time. I've done all the match stats. That took about 3 months. And then it's going to feature the work of you customizers. And, hopefully about June next year, we'll get something out in print. Unless I've gone broke by then, which is quite possible the way things are going at the moment.
Would it be a good idea to put a list of the wrestlers you need up on the group or something like that, and then people can sort of all have a crack at trying to do one that might end up in your book?
I won't do that at this stage, and that's purely from to manage my workload point of view, because I'm barely online at the moment, and I've got to get the other stuff done. But that will certainly come in, and I want to get the collector stories from people as well. But when I'm in the main, it's just going to feature a number of customizers, because it's easier to work with a smaller number of customizers. Because to go into print, I have to be quite demanding. And Zash will know that, quite demanding on the quality of the photographs. So I can't just say to someone, can you take it again? Can you take it again? Can you do it with more light? Can you do it with that sort of stuff? It actually needs, high quality photos to go into print. Where in digital, it's fine. Quick shots look great, but for print, it's a totally different beast. So the time will come for that. So
all these customizers need to go out and get a DSLR. Is that right?
Oh no, it's
you have to get like a friggin' Canon.
Just it's about it's the resolution of the image, it's the lighting, and you got to think, if it's already dark in the photo, in print it's going to be really, really dark. So it's just a management of that sort of thing. So
sure. Well, something to look forward to for everyone.
There will be a double-page spread, maybe a 4-page spread, depends on how many pages I can fit in to make the weight, of the reimagining of the LJN characters. So that's a chance to get about 70 different customizers, or 71, to make a different version, and many have been made, of the figure releases. And often they're better versions. We saw a Brutus before, right? We saw a Savage before. I'd love to see a couple different SD Joneses. We've seen different Kempeteras. Justin Bennett was one. So that'll be a good thing, where the whole community can get into the book with single images, reimagining the actual releases. And I'd love to do that. And that will happen about March, I'd say.
Love it. Well, there you go, guys. Book 2 is going to be on its way soon. We all love book 1. So I'm sure everyone who got book 1 will get book 2. Duarte, what's been happening? What are you up to for the next week? Are you going to have a week off or something soon, or are you going to do it? You going overseas, or what's happening?
Yes, I'm going away next month on a little weekend trip with a buddy of mine. We're going away from my birthday. We're going to Amsterdam for the weekend.
Oh, that'd be right.
Like I don't need to smoke anymore. But it's we're going there, yeah. And for the next week, I'm going to be working on just some work that Todd sent, right? Like the Vince Senior, the Gorilla Monsoon, and stuff like that. Yeah. But besides that, I'll be smoking what Brutus there, a couple cannons on one from one cafe to the other.
So is it going to be like The Hangover?
Pardon?
Is it going to be like The Hangover?
Not like that. Just getting high, just all the whole day.
So will you be doing the show from Amsterdam?
Maybe, and then after, I might also, while I'm there in Amsterdam, I'm just going to take a day trip to Rome to watch my soccer team play, and then fly back.
Hopefully they do better than they did this week, mate.
Pardon?
Hopefully they do better than they did this week.
Oh my God, they got killed, and why you got to bring it up and piss me off?
Oh, it's the end of the episode. It doesn't matter. I may as well piss you off now. Sin, what's going on, mate? What do you got planned for the week?
So I got to fly out crack of dawn tomorrow morning to go wrestle in Florida. I'm going to do a 4-way Monsters Ball match So that should be interesting. And then October, for the spooky characters like me, Gangrel, Boogeyman, guys like that, October is always our crazy time of the year, just extra crazy. And then we got a bunch of custom orders on the go, and in between teaching at the wrestling school, flying around, jumping around in spandex and doing all that jazz. Another weird thing, this is not a shameless plug. This is just sort of, I'm throwing out an idea. I haven't really wrapped my brain around how I want to do this, but I'm gonna sort of do like custom requests of bodies to just 3D print for people. Like again, if you want the Ron Simmons upper body on Rick Martel legs or whatever, just stuff like that. Like I think I want to just on top of selling printed bodies for people to customize what they will, like they put whatever heads on and do whatever they want to them. But I'm thinking I might also just want to do that as like digital files. So it's just a click of a button for me. It's way cheaper for somebody else. And then they can print it at their own leisure, at their own home, whatever. So I'm going to do that. So if you guys want to do any of that stuff, let me know. I'm really not, it's not so much of a business thing. It's just me being a giant little kid, just trying to find ways, cool ways to make more of these awesome little toys.
Does that mean they can print as many as they want, or?
Yeah, I haven't really wrapped my brain around what kind of like set of rules or lack thereof I want to do. Like I know, about, when I first kind of came on here and I saw that people were like, oh, you buy a head, then that's the one head, and if you want to buy another head, don't reproduce them unless you made them yourselves. And so I know there's like a kind of an etiquette amongst the customer, which is super cool. Oh, good. I didn't know until I knew, and somebody told me, and I was like, okay, great. So like I don't know exactly what parameters I want to put, and I'm really not a parameter guy. I'm not a rule guy. I'm a really polite anarchist. I kind of want to do what I want. I just want to hurt anybody's feelings. So like, I don't know, I guess it just kind of be on the honor system, really. I'm not going to hunt anybody down if they make 2 bodies out of a digital file. I think kind of do what you want, I suppose. Like if it makes you happy, then knock yourself out, I guess. But not to bring up anything weird on the outro of this, but with Peter Arco, like I know he's a bit artsy and he can be, a little obtuse here and there, but he's a good dude. Like everybody, we just all love these toys, and I think he had his own kind of weird set of rules and different things. And I think he kind of got a bit of a rude awakening with people getting mad at him. And I even got annoyed and then but we talked, and within 2 seconds we were totally good. So like, I'll actually cast some more of his LJN style, not the Hulk Hogan Rock and Wrestling, but I'll cast, I did already cast him. I just haven't put him out yet. His Dusty and his Billy Graham, and they look super awesome. And we haven't figured out, how much we want to sell them for or whatever. Like we sold the Brother Love for a few bucks, and I think it was too high because like it's his sculpt. I'm the one that reproduced them. So I just got to make enough back to make it worth my while of reproducing them. And then he wants like the artistic side of the cut of that, which makes perfect sense. Whereas if I'm the one making the toy, then it's all me, or it's all him, or it's all you, or it's all Joey, or it's all whoever, Nick Hales, because it's their own creation. But sharing the time and effort with another artist kind of makes like double the cost, So at least this way with the 3D stuff, like, well, I'm just sitting here sculpting a body, and then if I just have to just click enter and send you a file, like, I don't know, and then I'm definitely open to suggestions and ideas on it. Like, I hadn't even figured out like the price. Like some people were like, hey, are these digital files going to be available? And if so, how much? And I'm like, well, I don't know yet. Maybe this or maybe that. So if you guys have any ideas,
then there has to be someone with a 3D printer to print it out.
Yeah.
So you're giving your file, selling your file to someone, and basically that's almost like giving it away. Once you've received that money, they can do whatever they want. They can print thousands of them and so forth. So you've got to be very careful as well, because then you might not have anyone else that wants that file anymore.
I would just, if I were you, I would just print it and just send them the figure printed, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that too. That's
probably the best bet for you at the end of the day. Like, no point of giving someone your creation, right?
Right. And yeah, I just like I like to share, whatever. But at the same time, you guys are 100% right. I should be, semi smart about it. I guess. Yeah. But yeah,
I mean, anyone can mold it and cast it afterwards if they desperately wanted to, but that will take effort. for them to do. So if they did do that, they've actually put their hand in their pocket and paid for stuff to do that.
Yeah,
and
sure.
while it might not be still correct to do, but they're doing it and they're putting their hand in. The way you're doing it, if you send them a file, well, they've just got it as many as they want. They pass it around to all their friends, and suddenly it's everywhere.
Yeah, and I think if I was just to print like bodies, like I had one dude before I got my 3D printer. I had one dude, Kevin Pelkey, I think. Is that correct? Am I saying his name right?
I think that's he does that right now for a lot of people. He does.
Yeah. I saw a couple of his and they were really cool. So I was like, hey, I'll contribute to that. I'll buy a couple of those. So I just bought them for myself. I haven't painted them yet. And then I said, hey, could you make me? And he didn't do that. I asked him if he had this. He said, yeah, I could do it. I said, can you send me a headless Tom Zink body? Because I want to use it to make a couple customs. And he's like, yep, sure. And he sent that to me. So I casted that and I made a couple, but you'd never know it was the same body because I chop them up and do all sorts of weird stuff to him. So you'd never know it was the same thing. But I sold him right at the gate. I said, I want to make this as a custom Mr. Potato Head body. And then soon after that, I was figuring out how to do the 3D printing anyway. So I made my own after that. So I printed a couple of them and then I just started making my own. But yeah, I was just on the fence of like how to do it where I can make a couple bucks, but still people can have easy access to this without it being, $5 billion or whatever. But I think it might be just like I agree with Mr. DDP there. I think it's, maybe just print them as you go. And just if you want to, I don't know, King Kong Bundy legs with a Lou Albano top, so be it. No problem. Print for you.
Click the button and then it prints. And then when it's done printing, you pick it up and mail it out. Same thing. It's no effort.
Right.
Really.
Yeah. And I don't have to paint it. It takes so long.
Yeah.
I mean, my painting takes forever.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. But also too, so I printed one to make a Mr. Perfect out of like a Steiner Galoob body. But I mirrored him. So now instead of him being like this, he's like this. So it just gives it just an extra little bit of different, whatever. So yeah, I guess I could just take requests and print them as requested, I suppose, I guess. But
well, you're doing some great stuff, Sin. Joseph, on to you. What's your plans for the week? Can you please do some fresh customs for us?
I have a bunch of orders. I've had a couple of things go on over the last couple of weeks that hasn't given me as much time to be doing them, but I have quite a bit of orders, and I have this one guy. I don't really know who he is. I just emailed him back and forth a bunch of times, but he's in London, England, and he bought first he ordered 7 from me, then he ordered 15, and now he just ordered another 15.
Nice.
And it's a lot, but basically I came across a couple of years ago this one guy who was selling some common beaters. He had 400 of them down in New York City, and me and my wife drove down and I bought them, I think, for like $6 a piece. So I still have a bunch of those, and so I've just been using rubber as much as I can, and they were some pretty bad beaters. So I may only get to use an arm and a leg or torso of the bodies, but they basically probably would have been ones that people threw away. But anytime I see lots of beaters, I try to buy them up, and I just have stuck to that because I actually like doing the milli putt and sanding. It's time consuming, but I don't mind doing it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Very hands-on. Brutus, any last words? Have we got any comments from people?
No, it's good, and going on from what Sin said and Dwight, a lot of it's just about communication within the community, really, and for people to try and enjoy what they're doing as much as possible. And you guys who keep doing this, you're creating a lot of enjoyment for people out there.
I will tell you, I told you guys last time I was here, I'm going to repeat myself and say it again. Like, all you guys really did contribute to my sanity during all the pandemic and all the lockdowns. And I know you and Zash are still kind of up in it in Australia and all that stuff. And it really is a cool thing. So anytime I would see somebody argue, I was just like, oh no, guys, don't turn such a cool, awesome, nostalgic thing into, drama. And I just would see the odd person squawking about something or whatever. And then I saw the thing again about Pete, and I just was just like, oh, let's just all be cool to each other because these toys are the coolest and they're gateways to our childhood. So let's just enjoy this shit.
Yeah,
like
let's
you
enjoy
say,
it.
Sin, like you say, mate, you speak to someone in person. You've like on this show, we speak to people every week. We're in person we've never had an issue with anyone. No one's ever had an issue with us while we're talking face to face.
I will tell you a really funny, like this was ridiculous. This was a couple of weeks ago, and maybe 2-3 weeks ago. My timeline is crappy, but like I put up